Good morning, boys. It's a Tuesday, maybe feels like a Monday, after May 2-4 weekend. And let me tell you, we got a lot to catch up on, just the one DWG last week. So we got to kind of rewind a little bit, catch up. We got lots to talk about today. Why don't we start in the show? And the show is the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Boston Bruins, original six Boston Bruins, are off to their third Stanley Cup final in 8 years, which is pretty impressive. But also at the same time, the way the format sets up, it didn't surprise me at all, especially considering all the upsets that happened in the first round. It kind of laid it out for a nice, pretty smooth path for them, as long as, it's very reminiscent of the Pittsburgh-Washington days over the last 6-7 years. The Toronto-Boston series. Whoever wins that series essentially probably walks to the final, because the way the upsets happened this year with Tampa and Washington going out, I just didn't see, Carolina's not a true Eastern Conference final team, in my opinion. Same thing with, the Islanders are a good team, but I wouldn't consider them a true second-round opponent, even though both of them had some impressive series wins and stuff like that. And Columbus had a good team for sure. Columbus had a good team. It was a set of circumstances where they completely owned Tampa Bay, but again, that team's not going to be, to me, I don't think it's going to be a true contender next year, because they're going to lose some key pieces. Now, they do have some really good young pieces and have some good young pieces in their farm system, and they'll probably swing for the fences with some cap space, but I just don't see that team being the same quality as they were this year near the end of the season. So hats off to the Boston Bruins. They're going to have Zdeno, Big Z, Chara back in the lineup. The Stanley Cup Final Game 1 goes next Monday, so in 6 days from now. And a lot of people wonder and question, well, why does the NHL wait so long between the Eastern and Western finals and the Stanley Cup final? There's a couple reasons, and I'm okay with the break. Now, there's some dark nights here and stuff like that, but the NHL needs to do a couple things. First of all, they need to set up and make sure that this is the showcase of their season. So there's a lot of we do know that Boston's going to have home ice, so they have to make sure their arena availability is good, and they also cross-reference with the NBA to make sure that they're on opposite nights, because they don't want to share the TV tube in the States with the NBA finals. We'll get into the NBA in a second, but they want to make sure they have their own night. They want to make sure that the logistics of the rinks are going to be available. So they cross-reference with both San Jose and St. Louis for the Game 3, 4, and then Game 6 to make sure that was okay. And then when it comes to lining up tickets for family, it's similar to Super Bowl. It's a lot of preparation, getting signage up in the cities. So they're going to get lots of signage. They're going to get lots of organization in terms of press conferences and all that kind of stuff ready in Boston. And by the time they get Boston ready, they're going to have an extra 3-4 days to get San Jose or St. Louis ready, because the series won't shift to those until the following Saturday. So essentially they'll have 7 days to set up those ones once they finalize. So it ended up working out really well that Boston won in terms of the logistics of the marketing and setting everything up, because they knew there was going to be home ice, and they could line that up and then cross-reference with the NBA, who also is going to have their finals set in stone. So the conversations happen in close quarters, and Gary Bettman used to be, at one time, if you guys didn't know, used to be the assistant deputy to the NBA. So he has strong ties to the NBA, and so they want to share the wealth. They want to make sure that everybody gets their spotlight, and certainly the NBA finals would reign supreme in the States over the NHL playoffs in a lot of markets. So hats off to the NHL for making sure that they got ahead of it. And Boston gets a 10-day break, but if St. Louis wins tonight, they're going to have a break too. And I guess that's the other reason is you don't want your showcase to end up being a 4-game series or a 5-game series because a team was missing a key player. So there's going to be players that are banged up, and we know San Jose is really banged up. I would expect St. Louis, after the beatdown they put on San Jose this weekend, that they're going to close out that series either tonight or the very next game. I think San Jose is just too banged up. It's unfortunate for Jumbo that he's not going to get a chance to go to the final. But St. Louis is a great team, and they're very deserving, and they've got some guys on their team too. And I guess if we're looking at their team, they're a little banged up too, so it gives them at least probably 6-7 days to heal up, and so then you get your best on best of each of those teams showcased in the final. I'm completely fine with those. Both are going to have some rest, both are going to have some rust. The only thing that really, is bad about the whole break is usually at least the first game, or the first period or the first half of the game in the Stanley Cup Final Game 1 is usually pretty sloppy. It's teams are just trying to get their legs back under them, and so it's a lot of dump and chase. It's a lot of 1-2-2. It's a lot of feeling out process. So it gets a little murky, I guess. So we're gonna see what happens and develops tonight. I will say, and I'm going to get into a couple pet peeves, but one of my pet peeves when it comes to trophies specific to the NHL. Now, I love the handshake. The handshake line is amazing. It's the best sportsmanship thing in all of pro sports. It's amazing. But the pet peeve of mine is this whole thing about touching the Eastern or Western Conference trophies. The Prince of Wales in the West, the Prince of Wales in the East, and the Campbell Conference Trophy in the West. And this whole thing about superstitions. And I cannot stand when teams do not grab the trophy because you just went through a war for a whole season and 3 rounds. And you are not going to touch that trophy because, quote unquote, it's not the one we want. Well, no shit, it's not the one you want. Nobody plays for the Eastern or Western Conference trophies, just like nobody plays for the President's Trophy. But you earned it, you won a trophy, so grab it. So tonight, if St. Louis wins and they don't touch the trophy, that means Boston and St. Louis didn't touch the trophy. One of them isn't going to win the Stanley Cup. So the superstition is rendered useless because one of them didn't touch the trophy and is not going to win. So just grab the damn trophy because it doesn't matter. Grab the damn trophy. If you want the Stanley Cup, go and get it. Touching another trophy isn't the hockey gods aren't gonna say you can't do it. There's been many years where both teams haven't touched the trophy. There's been many years when both teams touched the trophy. Just grab the damn trophy. I'm not saying parade around the rink with it like you won the Stanley Cup. Grab the trophy, take a picture, take it to the room with the boys, have a night with the boys till midnight, and then on to the next series. That's all I'm saying. It's just super annoying that they don't touch the trophy because and they quote, I guarantee you hear it every year, it's not the one we want, we still got a lot of work to do, blah, blah, blah. It's just dumb. It's just completely dumb. So that's my rant on trophies in the NHL, although they do so many great things, including the Stanley Cup, which is the greatest trophy in all of sports, and it's awesome. The NBA, the Raptors, they won a game in the finals, Eastern Final. Boy, did they ever make it harder than they had to. Siakam missing those 2 field goals. Throughout the whole game, really, they were ahead, but instead of, they were up 9 and they were up 7, they were up 11, they were hanging around, they were leaving the opportunity for that other team, the Bucks, to get in the game. And this is what championship teams do. Championship teams make that 3-pointer when you're up 11 to go up 14. You make another 3-pointer to put the foot on the throat. You go up 20 and you stay up 20 and you rest your guys. Instead, they're playing like Milos Raonic plays his tennis. Serve right to the final serve of the game and win in the 5th set, 7th tiebreak. And you've got to put your foot on the opponent's throat for the very reason that you are the older team. Kawhi Leonard just played 52 minutes. And if you go up 20, you sit him in the last 5 minutes of the game and get him rest. And he only plays 35 minutes instead of 52. Because guess what? 2 days later, you got another game. And guess what? 2 days later, you got another game. And you're the older team that's going to be traveling from Toronto to Milwaukee, back to Toronto. It's going to wear on them. And they had an opportunity to go up 14 and 16. They had open looks to make shots. You got to make shots. You got to go up by 20 to get the rest. And because of that, yes, they got the win. But Milwaukee is going to end up victorious because the Raptors now are going to run out of gas. And I think tonight you're going to see a very tired Raptors team. And if the Raptors don't come out and make shots early, Gasol making some shots like he did the other game, Milwaukee is going to catch up. Milwaukee is going to run the table because they have the legs, they have the bigger bench, and they got the guys that are making the shots. And they had guys that were not making shots and they weren't falling. But let me tell you, if they have any guys going tonight making shots, it's not good. It's not good for the Raptors. And it basically means the Raptors are done in 5. I just have that feeling, even though I want to be an optimist on this. They had the chance to really put a statement, and it's just opportunity after opportunity. They won, and they made shots, and I give Danny Green credit for making a shot when he wasn't going, and Van Vliet for making a shot, and they got some great minutes and some points from Powell, who was awesome, but they made it way harder than they did, so that'll be interesting tonight. In the other Western Final, look who, surprise, surprise, the Golden State Warriors are off to their 5th straight final. And if Milwaukee ends up beating Toronto, I actually think Milwaukee's got a great shot at pushing that series 6-7 games. I think Milwaukee's a really, really good team. They've got some unbelievable players, and I didn't give them enough credit early on in the playoffs. I actually think they have the team that could beat Golden State. Very similar in styles, where they drive and then push it out and make shots. I think they got a bigger bench than Golden State, but what's going to help Golden State is they're going to get some rest here. That would be an unbelievable final. If the Raptors end up winning, I just think they're going to run out of gas, especially considering it's going to go 6-7 games, and the Golden State Warriors are going to have a week to 10 days off. So it's a tough one there. So my one pet peeve with the NBA is the trophy, the Larry O'Brien Trophy. They make a new one every year, so that's kind of dumb. Not to mention the trophy itself isn't anything special. I mean, it's a golden basketball with a hoop that's not amazing. Like, if you take a look at the trophy, the basketball trophy for the CIAU, the basketball trophy that the Carleton Ravens basically own, the CIAU OUA basketball. The thing is amazing. Go Google that trophy for the best basketball team in Canada. They don't get a dumb little plaque like they do in NCAA basketball. It's an amazing trophy. And the NBA, I don't understand why they don't have something that's more amazing, let alone making a new one every year. Is really dumb. Like, it cheapens the value of it. And on top of that, when a team wins, they give it to the owner first. They don't give it to the guys that earned it, the guys that, fought for it, the captains of the team, which is so dumb. And they do the same thing in the NFL. They give it to the owner. It's almost like when they give it to him, it's like he bought it. It devalues the whole experience. The NFL is the biggest pro sports league in the world, and they give a little tiny silver trophy with a football on it. I could make a cake the same size, for goddamn. And then they give it to the owner. It just looks so cheap. It looks like, oh, here you go, you bought the trophy, congratulations. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. And it's not going to change because it's the way it always is. So Marlies again game tonight, 1-1 against the Charlotte Checkers. They're looking to go to their second straight AHL final, so that'll be another game. And then in the Memorial Cup, the Guelph Storm could not get with the Prince Albert Raiders tonight. The Prince Albert Raiders lost to Rio Noranda last night. 3-3 in going into the third period. Reun ended up winning 6-3. Prince Albert, they're on the ropes tonight. They have to win in order to force a tiebreak later on this week. If Guelph wins, they will automatically qualify into a semifinal depending on tie breaks. And Reun has done enough to not get eliminated, so they'll be at the very minimum going into a tiebreak. It looks like Halifax is going right to the final, and Reun versus Guelph would probably be the semifinal. So interesting notes there. And again, if you're in the London area or live there, or you're coming down, I'll be there on Friday night, sometime 7:30, 8 o'clock. Have a couple pops, maybe I might dive into the old Caesars. I might get some Caesar. We'll see where we go from there, but we'll share some stories if anyone in the London area is coming out, and we'll go from there. So enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.